Florida is struggling right now between the affordability crisis, the collapse of the condo market, homeowners insurance problems. Many people are saying that Florida is finished.
A new report says more Florida homeowners are choosing to go without home insurance.
Rates have doubled or even tripled for many homeowners since Hurricane Ian.
Oh, they're skyrocketed. It's the worst I've ever seen in the country.
Florida homeowners are still paying 4 times more than the national average for property insurance.
In extreme cases, they say, Doug, I have to make a decision between buying insurance and paying for food and utilities.
Retiring to Florida has been the dream for many Americans, but it's now becoming out of reach.
Florida is number one in the nation for a lot of things, but one of those things in particular right now is not something you want to be known as number one for, and that is homeowners insurance rates. Across the nation, homeowners insurance rates in 2024 are predicted to go up by about 6%, but in Florida, that number is as high as 24%. And this year, 2024, they are saying we are expecting a worse than usual or more active than usual hurricane season, especially on the Atlantic. In a state where most homeowners or many homeowners are already paying 4 times the national average, that's not great news. Homeowners insurance rates in Florida are higher due to many things. It's not just the weather. Although you may be prone to think that it's largely because of the hurricanes, it's not entirely because of that. Now, I know many of you take issue with me using anecdotes rather than actual facts, but hear me out. I know of a 55 and over community where a roofer canvassed the neighborhood and told lots of homeowners that following a big hailstorm that they all needed new roofs. So what happens is these roofing companies come out, they canvass the area, they get one homeowner to agree to try for a new roof. They get that guy a new roof. Larry down the street hears about it. He wants a new roof too. And before you know it, half the community has a new roof. And what happens is they convince the homeowners to assign their benefits to the roofing company. Then the roofing company says, yes, these guys need a new roof. Whether they do or not, I don't really know. These particular homes were from 2018. They were pretty new. But they approached the insurance company. The insurance company sends out an adjuster. The adjuster argues and says, no, they don't need a new roof. But the homeowner has already assigned the benefits over to the roofing company, so they don't actually need the homeowner's approval or permission to go ahead and file a lawsuit against the roofing company. Then the roofing company has to decide, do we settle? Do we give them a new roof? Either way, they're out of a lot of money. Ed, Larry, and everybody else in the street are thrilled with their new roof. The roofing company is happy, they got paid. And the insurance company is thinking, what are we doing in Florida? Insurance companies obviously are not in the business of making major payments like that. The situation is complicated, and obviously Florida does experience a lot of severe weather, and there are lots of legitimate claims also. But cases like this are not making the matter any better. And everyone who has a mortgage in Florida has to have homeowners insurance. It's not like you can stop and cancel it and self-insure or just make a savings account. Your lender will require you to keep insurance on the home. And if you don't have insurance, they will find insurance for you. And believe me, they will not shop around. As a result, we've had many insurance companies leave the state of Florida, which reduces the competition in the marketplace and means there are fewer choices for our Florida homeowners. Now, this year we did approve 6 new companies in January and 8 more in April, but until they start writing policies, homeowners in Florida are not going to feel relief from those new companies. Now, here's what's worrying me for Florida. Florida's economy obviously is based heavily on tourism. I mean, it is the #1 domestic tourist destination in the United States. But to maintain that kind of highly popular tourism, we need employees. We need workers. People have to clean up the parks and the attractions and the hotels and serve food and do different things that are not overly highly paid jobs. Those kinds of employees are not able to face a $10,000 a year homeowners insurance fee. Now, for a long time in Florida, condos presented themselves as a fairly inexpensive way to get your foot in the door into home ownership. Low maintenance, someone else takes care of things for you, and a lot of them were very inexpensive. Even the association fees were rather low. But all that is changing this year as new legislation has been put in place, making sure that these condos are structurally sound. In 2024, any condo building that's above 3 stories or more than 30 years old has to have certain things in place by the end of the year or at the end of the year to make sure that they are structurally viable. So condo buildings have to have reserves. For a long time, they were allowed to set their reserves on their own. And of course, many condo owners wanted to keep the reserves lower, meaning that their monthly association fee was also lower. That worked for a certain amount of time. That is going away. Now, many condo owners are finding themselves faced with massive assessments in order to beef up those reserves or to do necessary repairs. And as a result, a lot of condo owners are finding themselves doing fire sales, selling the property for much less than they ever thought that they would have to, just to be able to get away from these assessments. Some of them are, in Orlando, I saw $22,000. In Miami, $100,000 per unit. Not all together, but per unit. Buying a condo is still an option. It's not something you have to shy away from, but be sure you're getting all the information. You need a copy of the budget. You need a copy of the financial reserves. You need to see what's going on in each building and find out what's coming up before you make that purchase. During lockdowns a couple of years ago, Florida saw a massive wave of people moving here. People found themselves working remotely and decided, Florida was a lot less expensive, no state income tax, better weather. There are a lot of reasons why people chose to uproot themselves and move to Florida. Overall, it was a lot less expensive than many other states. So we had people coming from states where real estate prices were already highly inflated, moving to Florida, where it seemed pretty cheap, and that pushed our prices up, and away. As a result, we have rising property taxes. And according to Redfin, the median home price across the board in Florida this year is $448,000. And in 2020, so just 4 years ago, it was $270,000. Let's look at a mortgage payment on a $400,000 purchase price. So if the home price is $400,000, you're putting down 10%, 30-year fixed, put down 7, whatever. This is what just kind of automatically populated, almost 7.5% interest rate. Property tax at $5,000, homeowners insurance at $1,400. Okay, that might be too low. If it's a newer home, it might not be. Your monthly payment is coming out to $3,211. And in order to be able to afford that home, your yearly income has to be roughly $127,000 before taxes. And yes, people are still moving to Florida. It's still one of the top destinations in the nation, if not the top. But this demand is keeping our prices high, and soon I fear that only the wealthy are going to be able to afford to live in Florida. You don't have to take my word for it, though. It's making the headlines, and once again, not in a good way. Florida tops the nation in teachers' wages. Well, actually, it doesn't top the nation. It's at the bottom for teachers' wages. Unsurprisingly, Florida also has the greatest number of teaching vacancies in the nation. So the average teacher wage is just about $53,000 in Florida, and the necessary minimum living wage in Florida is $58,000, even more than almost $59,000. So we're about $6,000 apart. Sadly, this means that many families and working class folks are soon going to be priced out of Florida completely. And with an economy that's heavily reliant on tourism, where are the people going to live who keep the tourism industry running? Those people are quickly being priced out of a place to live, unless they're willing to rent with roommates, purchase with other family members, buy something on the fringe of what they're interested in. So in other words, you want a single family home, but you buy a townhome. You wanted a townhome, but you're forced to buy a condo or a mobile home or something that is just simply less expensive than what you actually wanted. It's becoming more and more difficult. Things have to change in Florida. But what do you think that might be? Are we to the point of no return, or can things change? What has to be done? How can we make Florida more affordable? I'd love to hear your input on this. Thanks for watching.